share with you a story lifted from the daily devotional, Our Daily Bread. Brady Davis was a high school senior and was one of the best and brightest in his community. He was talented and intelligent, but his greatest asset was his integrity, which he demonstrated during a regional spelling bee. When his school was given the word auditorium, Brady glanced down to think about the answer. As he did so, he noticed that the word was printed on the microphone stand. Brady called this to the attention of the judges, who then gave the team a more difficult word. Brady did what he knew was right, whether others noticed or not. He showed exemplary behavior, which made his community even more proud of him. He knew what he was capable of doing, and he embraced this responsibility with all the right values. To our board of judges, guests, educators, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. Today, I stand in front of you instilled with an understanding that integrity is one of the core values. Integrity, as we all know, means uprightness of character. A person who acts truthfully, morally, and ethically. A person who demonstrates integrity, practices and values honesty, shows responsibility, compassion, courtesy, with high self-esteem, and therefore a good leader, which others should emulate. With this, we begin to question, how many of us Filipinos do you think are not rearing their children? How many government officials have you voted during elections because of their integrity? How many parents do you think are not rearing their children to possess such values? How many of us students are not cheating during exams? There are no such things as definitive answers on these issues. The increasingly violent images portrayed in movies, on televisions, and in music portray violence as an ordinary and often appropriate way of resolving conflicts, demonstrating power, releasing emotions. Such things as these drug-related killings, war among nations, corruptions, even these small crimes are some of the usual things we see and hear on the daily news. It is so ironical that instead of being horrified and baffled by the rising rates of real-life violence, so many of us Filipinos are fascinated and even enjoy watching and hearing them on the news. Worst, the youth would comment, share, and even hit like on the Facebook post. It shows how greatly influential these on our attitudes about the acceptability of violence. At any time, someone intentionally hurts another, either in words or actions. Recently, we have been wrecked with the news on TV about corruption. Leaders of our country were accused and charged of corruption, using our money and spending too much for their travels abroad. even for their own personal use. How could they be so cruel? Where is the value of honesty in this case? Doing bad really is limiting our lives. I remember my 4-year-old cousin who sat beside me one evening while I was reading a book. She suddenly uttered, "Kuya, where is God?" I could not answer her as I was totally astonished with her question. I also began to ask myself, does my little cousin also feel and understand what our country is facing at present? Does she already anticipate how vague her future will be due to the turmoil our country is experiencing? Where are the right values of our people now? I then realized that the first step to gain back our values is to realize that we all are children of God. Thanks to my little cousin. Every person, you too, has a set of inner values. Moral codes and standards in the society or groups are based on these values. As always, they have developed in us. We just have to awaken ourselves to the realities of life. It is time to teach the youth how much more freedom we would all have if we have integrity. If we all are honest. So we can simply say to anybody, don't anymore lock the door in your house. No intruders will get inside anyway. Or, I am never afraid to go home late. Or, those women are not intimidated or afraid of a man because of the possibility of rape and sexual harassment anymore. If we agree that freedom from violence is right, then that places a responsibility on all of us to behave with respect towards each other. As a youth, I feel very powerless to change the problems of corruption and violence. I cannot change the world, but I can change myself like Brady Davis. I can change the way I solve problems in my own life with my fellow students, friends, family, and neighbors. I can teach them by setting a good example for other people in my life. I can turn off violent TV shows, music, movies, and video games. I can be honest even if others are not. I can change my own corner of the world. I can be an ambassador for peace in my own little ways. We all can begin to teach the youth appropriate ways of dealing with these challenges. This is also what others should do to teach the youth. They must have a vision to strive toward. They should be aware of the positive ways to handle their own struggles in life. They must possess the value of integrity. We need to teach them to learn all they can about the world so they can become informed voters. But ultimately, the way for us to change the world is to think first about our little corner of it. Let's inspire our young people to imagine what it could be like to live in a world without corruption and violence. We've got to just pick a place to begin, and then it started. So easily, our fellow Filipinos can turn off violence in all its ugly forms. Physical violence, sexual violence, family violence, corruption, dishonesty, etc. We all need to be advocates of change. Let's continue to encourage our countrymen to actively participate in changing the corners of our world. Let's all take actions. It's never too late. We all can make a difference like Brady Davis, whose goal in life is to change the world around him while never compromising himself. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all be instruments of change. This pursuit of life, integrity, and exemplary behavior will create for us a country with wealth beyond earthly riches.